It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
Hi, I'm Des Clark, and this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. And joining me this week are Irish comedian Neil Delamere. Joining him is Edinburgh comic Jojo Sutherland. And facing them, broadcaster and stand-up Ashley Storey, alongside comedian Christopher MacArthur. Boys! Woo!
Hey.
In the news this week, a man who scooped a £58 million lottery win has celebrated by having a beer with his brothers at a 2-metre distance. And he says he'll be distancing himself from the rest of his family by a hell of a lot more as soon as that cheque is cashed. Airfares could rise by 50% when the lockdown is lifted as airlines adjust to a world in which fewer passengers can be squeezed onto planes, meaning you will no longer be placed next to a screaming child that spat the dummy, or as he's known in Virgin Atlantic, Richard Branson. And an entire island in Shetland is on the market for offers over £250,000. Shetland is the most northerly island group of the British Isles, and most people see it as very far away, but it's actually just that their ponies are really quite small. Right, let's do this. Let's crack on with round one. This is the Broken News round, where our teams have to guess the two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So, Christopher and Ashley, can you tell me the first story, please?
The first Prime Minister's question time in a month will go ahead.
And one of the things that we're keen to explore this morning is...
how's all this going to work?
Only 9% of us actually want...
the roaring and the guffawing and the jeering and whatnot.
Of course, they're particularly noisy, so apologies in advance.
Right, sir. Any chance that you might have heard what our first story could potentially be?
Lockdown, maybe?
Wow, you are so perceptive. Plucked from nowhere. It is lockdown, yes. How are you getting on, Christopher? The lockdown's been extended. How are you coping?
Do you know, I've been waking up about 2 in the afternoon, staying up till 5 in the morning, exclusively eating pasta, and then the government said there was a virus, so...
It's like the rest of the world's now caught up with you, Chris, isn't it? It is the ongoing lockdown, the news that it's been extended by 3 weeks minimum, as well as discussions that not everyone wants to go back to normal. Now, on the lockdown, obviously, there have been the press briefings every day, and after a delivery of protective equipment from Turkey arrived 3 days late and only contained half the promised kit, Matt Hancock was inundated with phone calls asking if he'd been missold PPE. So... Ashley, how are you coping with the extended lockdown?
I know how Matt Hancock feels because I ordered a ponytail extension off Amazon and a fringe arrived, just a single fringe for my forehead, and I don't really know. I feel very disappointed by it. But only 9% of Britons want to go back to how things used to be, according to a YouGov poll. We all want to take things that we're learning from this experience into our later life. Like, I'm probably exclusively not going to wear pants ever again because I've really enjoyed that throughout lockdown.
I think 91% of them didn't understand the question because they were too drunk. Everyone's been hammered.
But you're right, there is this stat saying that only 9% of us want to go back to exactly how it was. Are you one of those people? Are you doing all right with the lockdown?
No, absolutely not. I'm a social butterfly. I feel like I've been absolutely contained against my will. And the minute they let me out, I am never coming back in again. Like, never, ever. Once I'm out for good. Yeah. But I am much more of a social drinker, so I like to be around people.
Christopher, 9% of us only want to go back exactly to how things were. Does that sound like you? Do you believe that stat?
I can't stand these people who are like, you know, we can't let it go back to normal because without us there, the wildlife is returning. And do you know what? Think about the effect this is having on businesses. I read an article that said Iron Brew might go out of business, I would swap every species of wildlife on the planet Earth for the continued existence at Iron Brew.
Neil, what about you? How are you getting on with the extended lockdown?
I like what we've heard so far. I can see what's happening with Jojo. She's just putting the word social in front of various things to justify them. I'm a social butterfly. I'm a social drinker. I'm a social drug dealer. I'm a social cult leader. I think that works immensely well. And there's things I would like to keep from this. You know, there's definitely things I'd like to keep the lack of hugging. I mean, I don't like it. I'm a Celtic male of a certain age, which means I've hugged my brothers 3 times in my entire adult life, and all of those times have involved former Ireland and Liverpool midfielder Ray Houghton putting the ball into a net. So I wouldn't even hug my dad unless it was to check for weapons. I've no interest.
But it's an interesting question because a lot of us are liking lockdown more than we thought we might. So, let me ask you this. What one element of lockdown would you like to see continue? Christopher?
Not tipping delivery drivers. They're sliding pizza boxes across my clothes like a back alley handover. And I'm like, I can't give you any dangerous coins. I'm sorry.
I just think that you can tip them on the app, Christopher. There's absolutely no excuse for you not tipping your delivery
shut up,
drivers.
Ashley.
He's being stingy. He can tip them. There's a little button that says, would you like to tip your drivers? I tip them £4 because they're risking their life to bring me trans fats. You can tip your delivery driver, Christopher.
I've never seen that button.
Thank you, CMB. Well done. You get 2 points for that. Neil, any thoughts on what the second part might be?
I think it's the hybrid parliament, isn't it? It's
Yes.
Some MPs are there in person and some dial in via Zoom, and Jacob Rees-Mogg appears when you rub a tweed lamp. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, of course, the right answer. The news that the House of Commons has returned, but not quite as we know it. Because of social distancing, the new hybrid parliament involves some MPs in the chamber and others connected via video link. And I don't know if you saw Prime Minister's questions with Dominic Raab, who sat in for Boris Johnson and apparently did so badly that now all future PMQs are going to be handled by Alexa. Christopher, have you made anything of it? Do you think this new hybrid socially distanced parliament could work?
I think it's a lot better because the old way was outdated anyway. I think it should all take place on a webcam.
Yeah.
It's a new way of getting around answering questions just by pretending to freeze for 10 seconds.
Yes. Ashley, what about you? Did you see any of the new parliament? Do you think it can work?
There's 5 of us in this radio show and we're all struggling not to talk over each other. So I don't know how they're going to manage with 120 politicians who are all just comedians who never quite made it and need a new way to get attention, so ran for Parliament. And then you're going to have your Jeremy Corbyn types who are still on dial-up, so they're going to be clicky for the entire thing, and because they won't get broadband.
What are you thinking then?
I want to see them all in matching pyjamas. That's what I want.
Oh, nice. Yes.
They had a dress code.
That would
Like
be
a
nice.
family at Christmas.
Yes, you know, people do that, weirdos.
Well, here's the thing about the new parliament. Obviously, it's a hybrid. Some are in the House of Commons, some are not. That means they can't vote in the traditional manner. So, what would you suggest as an alternative way to vote? Neil, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, it seems like a fairly straightforward way for the government to win every single vote. You just have cards, yes and no written in them, but you get Priti Patel to count the votes. That's probably the easiest thing. Just like the nays, 251. The yeas, 11,000, 1 million and sixpence. Thank you, Priti. Motion passed.
Yeah, what about you, Ashley? Do you think there's another way they could do it?
Let's get falcons involved. Let's get birds involved. Let's get like those big ducks that have got barrels in their throats involved. Everybody just picks an animal, sends it in with their vote. If the animal makes it, your vote gets counted. If you picked a shonky animal, you don't get your vote counted. It's like olden days Pokemon.
Christopher, we can't do traditional votes in the House of Commons anymore. What else could we do to do a vote then for Parliament?
I really like that octopus that predicted the World Cup. Maybe we should get him back in. Maybe we could just
Bring him out of retirement.
Get rid of democracy.
He's dead.
The octopus died?
Oh,
Yeah, my mum's
Yeah,
agent
Paul
was
the
the
octopus
octopus's
dead, yeah.
agent.
hang on. The octopus had an agent.
Yeah, and it was my mum,
No.
Christopher's agent, was the octopus's agent.
Who's getting
It
the
did
money?
all the chat shows, Des. It did all the chat shows. It was on Lorraine Kelly. It was on Trisha. It was on all the big chat. It got more work than Mum.
Well done, Jojo O'Neill. You get 2 points for that. That was the mashup of the lockdown continuing and the virtual House of Commons. And at the end of that round, the teams are all square. Now, so much of our news is about public opinion, so obviously we're not out and about in the streets with microphones at the moment, but we have caught up with two very good friends of the programme. This week we spoke to author Christopher Brookmyre and comedian Susan Riddle. Neil and Jojo, what story do you think that Chris is on about here?
People are that bit more pleased to see each other. You probably get a lot more nods and waves. I think your perception of the average one of these, interestingly, is always older than you. Somebody that maybe wouldn't give you your ball back, somebody that you could probably rely upon. I think this is one of the areas where there will be a lasting change, because once you've broken down barriers, people are reluctant to put them back up.
I think it is the neighbourliness, the people that you live next door to.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it is the news that the government measures to stay at home have actually led to a surge in neighbourliness. It is absolutely the right answer. The lockdown has really lowered tensions, for example, between my uncle and the guy next door to him, as he's had to stop going round to sleep with that guy's wife. Neil, what about you? Have you got a neighbourly sense about you? Has it increased?
Well, I've gotten to know my neighbours a bit more, because I used to think my neighbour on one side was a complete moron. His dog kept digging under the fence into my back garden, and I'd bring the dog back round to him, and he'd go, "Oh, I wonder how the dog got into your garden." I'd be like, "He's got muck on his paws and he can't fly. I'm pretty sure we can figure this out." So I used to think that he was an idiot, and now from chatting to him, I feel that's been confirmed. So at least.
And what about this idea?
We are genuinely in a WhatsApp group, and we were beforehand, and this, without a word of a lie, has started that we take turns now, that all the neighbours put out goblets, and the neighbours take turns to come round and fill them with alcohol. So
wow.
It's like we've adopted a...
Goblets?
I know, isn't it? It's brilliant. It's, goblets.
Do you live in the 16th century?
They're gin goblets. And so it's like an adult version of the Tooth Fairy, except you get gin goblins.
That
Gin
sounds
time.
like some creepy druidic ritual. I feel like yous are all going to live forever, and yous are actually sacrificing the young people while yous are filling each other's goblets up.
Ashley, what about you then? What about this idea of getting to know your neighbours any better? Do you believe in it?
No, I don't like my neighbours. One of them tweeted me once, and it really frightened me, so I muted her. I get very uncomfortable knowing that people can hear my parents fighting and stuff.
That octopus is getting 8 times as much as I am.
It's lovely. It's a beautiful image. Well, here's the question I want to ask now, because obviously we have different relationships with our neighbours depending on who they are and where we're from. I want to know what your most memorable encounter with a neighbour is.
Well, I was pregnant third time around, as I have 4 children. So on the third attempt, gave birth on my whole floor, because I give birth like I'm shelling peas. And my neighbour had originally been tasked with the job of driving me to hospital when I went into labour. But because I completely superseded any bothering of going to hospital and just gave birth on the whole floor, my neighbour then decided to retrain and went from chauffeur to midwife within the matter of minutes, appearing with a medical encyclopedia and a pair of scissors.
What?
Yeah, and all my kids just going, "Mummy, what's the rope for?" Which was the umbilical cord, but I think my screams were enough to tell my neighbour to go back to her own house and leave me alone.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I wouldn't let my neighbour cut my hair, let alone that.
Yeah, exactly.
An increase in neighbourliness is the correct answer. 2 points go to Neil and Jojo. To you now, Ashley and Christopher. Here's Susan. What is she talking about here?
I've heard loads of people saying they're struggling with this, but I've been okay. I've been doing more of it, in fact. I just don't want to hear when people have had one of these. It's always like, "Oh, and then your dad was over there, but it wasn't your dad." You know how the things that you get at carnival where you try and win a teddy bear and it's like a claw? Well, I was the teddy bear. I was in the machine and the teddy bear was trying to win me.
Ashley, I'm going to come to you on this one. What do you think Susan's talking about?
She's talking about the people who can't sleep, and those who are sleeping are having very, very weird dreams.
Oh, you're absolutely right. How are you doing, Ashley? Are you sleeping well? Are you dreaming? What's going on?
I sleep about 3 times a day, probably locking in about 18 hours. I am having the most surreal dreams.
You've been bang on with identifying the story. I don't mind admitting that recently I've had some pretty weird and inappropriate dreams myself. Last night I dreamt I drove to my holiday home in Fife. And I did it twice. I mean, what was going on with that? Christopher, what about you? Are you sleeping all right, mate?
I've been here having really like banal dreams. I think because I sleep about 11 hours a day. Like I'm having dreams like I go to the shop and there's a fridge full of pork mince, and then I buy it and I eat it, and then I wake up.
You would make the most mundane Martin Luther King at this point in time. Jojo, what about you? Are you sleeping well? Are you having dreams?
I always sleep quite well, and I can sleep standing up. I'm quite lucky in that respect. I drop off.
Jojo is an amazing sleeper. I've been in the room with Jojo, and Jojo and my mum have the very same thing where they'll go, all right, that's lovely, okay, within the space of a second.
Mid-conversation. That's right, we shared a room, Ashley, and yeah.
And when were you both in prison? What is your top tip for a good night's sleep? Because a lot of people are struggling at the moment.
I'm sleeping reasonably well, actually, and my wife is having kind of very strange and very vivid dreams. So if I can't sleep, what I get her to do is just tell me about her dreams.
Yeah, that's the way. Just to if you could record that as an
get
audio
a good
book.
mattress.
Sorry, get a good mattress.
The last time I bought a mattress, we were in IKEA, and the woman genuinely said, "Oh, if you want to test the mattress properly, you should do whatever you normally do in a bed." Oh. So my wife deliberately in front of her went, "Let's have a fight, and you have to sleep in another part of IKEA." And she made me.
What about you, Christopher? Any tips for those struggling to sleep at the moment?
Every morning about 4:30, I've been cracking open a can of juice, like just before my head touches the pillow, and tanning it in one go, and I would recommend that you don't do that.
Ashley, any tips for a good night's sleep?
You lie down, you shut your eyes, you put on a good serial killer podcast that gets you all worked up about serial killers and that. And then you just wiggle your toes. I swear by it. Wiggle your toes for as long as you need to, and you fall asleep. It works every time, Des.
Wiggling your toes, serial killer podcast. That's why many of the delivery drivers that come to Ashley's house never return. Yes, bad sleep and weird dreams in lockdown is the correct answer. 2 points go to Christopher and Ashley. Woo! You're tuned to the socially distant Breaking the News on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. This round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So Christopher and Ashley, you're first this time. Who is this?
The more that you become part of the system, the more that you lose yourself. And you just become a robot, you know?
There's Lady Gaga.
So why specifically are we talking about Lady Gaga this week?
Oh, she made another bacon dress or something.
It is, of course, the pop superstar that is Lady Gaga, who was in the news this week as she and other big names in music joined forces to celebrate healthcare workers in a globally televised concert, including the Rolling Stones, who performed together from 4 separate locations with a combined age of 302. The Aging Rockers gave a rousing rendition of Gimme Sheltered Housing. So, I don't know if Christopher saw the gig. Ashley, did you manage to catch the big gig that was on last weekend?
I think it was pretty cool. They raised over £100 million for vaccine development and for local charities and the World Health Organisation. You got to tell who was a good singer in real life and who had a lot of auto-tune because they were just singing down their camera phones. So that was exciting, just to see who was going to sing in tune and who was going to just be like, meh.
I seen Elton John, he was singing I'm Still Standing. And he kind of mangled it. It's like, I think it's really great that at this stage in his career he's decided to explore scat jazz.
I wanted to ask as well about the slight nosiness bit that we have watching these shows. Did you make anything of the celebrity homes? Did you see any of them?
People seem to be a big fan of doing it in the kitchen. It's kitchen or a bookcase. You can see the ones that Actually, you can tell the ones that probably don't have that nice a house because they keep a tight frame and you can't see much behind them. And the other ones are like, look at my palatial surroundings. Yes, I'm going to walk around with the camera and show you all of it. You're like, oh, shut up. Go away with your big posh house.
Here's a question for you then. On the back of that, what big event would you like to see hosted from your home?
I would love to have WrestleMania in my kitchen.
Yes. I could see that happening. You can make that.
Yeah, me and Rey Mysterio.
Can I just say Rey Mysterio is Christopher's name when he goes to sign on? If you don't know.
I'd like the Super Bowl. That's what I want to host for my back garden. That's what I want. I want something ridiculously big, but on a tiny scale. Just for the halftime show. I don't want to watch the match. I want to see the halftime show, which is usually glitz and glamour and Shakira and everything. Like Shakira dancing on the back of a flatbed lorry in your driveway is something I would really look forward to.
There's a lot of these mass entertainment online. Andrew Lloyd Webber has been streaming productions of his musicals on his The Show Must Go On YouTube channel. It is officially the first time in history the internet has said no to more cat videos. Absolutely, yeah. We'll all say yes to that. Right, Jojo and Neil, it's your turn now. Who is this and why are they in the news?
And he's saying, oh, well, if he can't be bothered to turn up, then, you know, don't have him on, it's a disgrace. And I just said, listen, mate, you're a frog. Start acting like one.
Oh, where do you start? Neil, come on, what's happening? Who is this?
That's Boris Johnson's real accent. Finally, the mask has slipped. That's Danny Dyer, isn't it? It's the one and only Danny Dyer.
It is
and
Danny
I think
Dyer.
He's going to teach history online.
Yeah, by the way, you know we do jokes in this. This isn't the joke bit. This is the right answer. Genuinely serious. It is the news that TV hardman Danny Dyer is amongst a host of stars helping to teach the nation's children during the COVID-19 crisis. I'm not making this up. The EastEnders actor will provide a history class for 5 to 7-year-olds on Henry VIII. And the reason why he can do this is Danny Dyer found out he was related to royalty on Who Do You Think You Are? Or as they were contractually obliged to rename it after that episode, Who Do You Think You're Looking At, You Slag? This is it.
As long as he does Henry VIII like it is full EastEnders, yeah. I'm fully on board with this. Just got a letter from the Pope. He said no to the divorce. Boom, 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 boom. I would fully watch that.
Jojo, what about yourself? Are you a Danny Dyer fan? How do you think he's going to get on as a teacher? No, do you not think he's going to work?
Come on. Well, having Danny Dyer teaching history is a bit like asking Piers Morgan to teach a moral education class. It's just like, I'm not entirely sure he'll know what he's doing.
So we've got Danny Dyer over here as a celebrity teacher. Who else would you think would make a good celebrity teacher for the nation?
Well, I signed up because I'm an idiot to that thing on YouTube where they advertise the masterclass so that you can learn from celebrities.
What?
It's 170 quid.
Yeah.
Chris Hadfield, the astronaut, was teaching you how to be a space explorer, and I watched all of that like I'm ever going to go into space.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
If you had to teach a subject yourself, what would it be and why? So, Neil, just picture yourself. You're in the classroom. There's a bunch of kids waiting, thirsting for that knowledge. What are you teaching?
I would teach a bit of history because if you ever see Danny Dyer he dresses up in the gear, the Elizabethan gear, and I look really good in that stuff. I had to do some history documentaries, and I once abseiled out of Dublin Castle to recreate a famous escape, and I was in full tights and a doublet, and I looked like Romeo doing the walk of shame. That's what I looked like. It was not a good look. And the guy who abseiled down before me was this South African commando, and he looked amazing doing it. And I looked like, do you know when they winch a cow out of a ditch in the winter and it's on the news? That's what I looked like. But I learned a couple of things along the way, so I try and front it out with a bit of history.
I think that winching a cow out of a ditch means something very different in Scotland.
Well, by the way, thank you for that mental image. We're now going to YouTube Neil Delamere in full historical dress, winching in Dublin Castle.
I will send it to the WhatsApp group. You know the one I'm talking about.
Oh, I know the one. Yes.
HotElizabethans.com. Text Quill to 1-800-FLUSH.
We're all signing up to that. We are a nation of teachers, and good to know that as a nation of homeschoolers now, we lasted only 4 weeks before just sticking on a video of Danny Dyer. Yes, Danny Dyer is the right answer, and 2 points go to Jojo and Neil. And here we are, it's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
Watch a little TV, why don't you?
That was actor and director Danny DeVito on What We Can Do While We're Stuck Indoors. Right. The average person has 36 what?
Chances to vote on the continuation of football if they're from Dundee FC.
Yeah. The average person has 36 what?
Is it joggers in the park running directly at them?
The average person has 36 what?
Favourite Deliveroo men.
You need to behave yourself, I've told you.
You're not the average person, Ashley.
No, I've got 60.
The average person has 36 what?
Toilet rolls about their person at any given time.
Oh, at least that, yeah. That is brilliant. I can actually give you the right answer in this one. The average person has 36 apps on their phone. 11 times more men than women have been caught doing what?
Wearing bras. Because ever since the start of the lockdown, no woman has put a bra on, and most men have drunk enough now that they need one.
Yeah, just pretending, Jojo, it's a face mask. Aye, right. 11 times more men than women have been caught doing what?
Is it waiting till someone walks in the room, lifting a dumbbell and going 1,001? 1,002.
I can give you the right answer. 11 times more men than women have been caught driving without a seatbelt. There's your answer.
Oh.
There we go. Irresponsible driving.
Watch a little TV, why don't you?
Oh, there we go. That is our klaxon, and it means Danny has vetoed. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Jojo Sutherland and Neil Delamere. Woo! Hey! Oh, commiserations go to Christopher MacArthur Boyd and Ashley Storey. Woo! And we'll leave you with the breaking the news. Breaking news, Justin. Harry and Meghan have told the UK's tabloid press they are ending all cooperation with them due to their distorted, false or invasive journalism. The papers were appalled and have issued a statement denying any and all connections with journalism. More than 3 million people have tuned in to watch Edinburgh Zoo's pandas on webcams since the beginning of March. You can see them lying around, scratching themselves and doing nothing but eat. And when you get bored looking at your family, you can watch the pandas instead. And this year's Love Island may have to be filmed in the UK and be delayed until later in the year due to coronavirus. Fans are expecting the best Love Island ever because nothing says romance like November in Millport. The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye! Yay!